man. Not another day like last Tuesday.
Cause it's Taco Tuesday.
Tuesday.
The big news.
Welcome to Tuesday Newsday number 13. Where our learning goal is to determine two or more central ideas of a text and analyze their development over the course of that text, including how they interact and build on one another. At the end of today's lesson, you'll be asked to rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 4. That scale is listed here. If you rate yourself at a 4, that means you can identify the central idea or ideas that the author uses to prove his or her point and how those ideas build on one another. A 3 means that you can identify the central idea or ideas and the evidence that the author uses to prove his or her point. And the 2 means that you can identify the central ideas, but you're missing some of that evidence. The evidence, much like showing your work in math, shows that you understand the process. And I don't know if this is breaking news to you or not, but the process is the most important thing about school. School has never been about finding the right answer or having the right answer, because there are going to be times when you don't have the right answer, and understanding that process is what's going to help you get to that answer. And a 1 means you were unsure of how to find the central idea. If you're at a 1 or a 2, honesty here is the best policy. Please do let me know. Because this question and this scale is as much an assessment of you as it is, or of me, as it is of you. Because it tells me what I can do differently to help you get to that 3. Do I need to ask better questions? Do I need to do a better job of identifying how the quotes in the story translate to that main idea? What can I do differently in the process of the lesson to help you get to a 3? That's what this assessment does for me. Your story title today is Vanderbilt's kicker Fuller becomes first woman to play in a Power 5 conference. This was big news over the weekend. Here was written on 12/4 for the Associated Press and then adapted for our service Newsella. And it is at the right in Edpuzzle right now. It's there as a hard copy and also as an audiobook, which I've read. However, I'm not going to read it in this video. Should you choose to just read it on your own, please do so now. Now that you have read the story, let's take a look at some vocab. Please answer the vocab as they pop up on the right in Edpuzzle now. Let's also take a look at the first and last sentence of the article. Please identify the first sentence of the article now. And identify the last sentence of the article now. At this point, I'd like to have a little brain break. If you choose, there is a 2-minute comedy skit off at the right now. You can skip right past it if you want, or you can take a minute and listen in. Totally unrelated to our Tuesday Newsday, but I did want to leave you kind of with a short brain break. So lighten the mood a little bit. Go ahead and do that now. And back we are to the story. I have identified the topic for us here. So we are gonna, because that's something that, we can just kind of know by looking at the headline. What I do want to focus on right now is summarizing the story. The challenge here is that I ask you to do it in exactly 12 words and exactly 32 words. Please, right now, identify the story in exactly 12 words. Or summarize the story, in exactly 12 words. And please summarize the story in exactly 32 words. We are on to the main idea of the article. Please identify what you think the main idea of the article is now. We are on to the next question, which is identifying quotes and why they matter to that main idea. Something gave you an idea as to what the main idea was that you wrote down. What was it? Find me a quote in the story that seems to support the main idea that you wrote. Once you've identified that quote, in the next Edpuzzle question, you'll be asked to explain why that quote supports the main idea. So this first question is just to write the quote in the Edpuzzle answer. And so now you'll identify why that quote supports the main idea. And your last question is to find a third article related to the topic. Provide the link and tell me how the main idea differs from the, I don't have two articles today, from the article provided. How is the main idea, if at all, different in the article that you found? So it wouldn't be a second, it would just be find another article related to the topic, provide the link, and tell me how the main idea differs from the one article provided. What is different about the one that you found, if at all? Taking a look at the main idea of the article, if you had something that is similar to this quote, which was taken directly from the article, you're on the right track. Just think it's incredible. This is a quote from her where she said, "I just think it's incredible that I'm able to do this. And all I want to do is be a good influence on young girls out there, because there were times when I struggled in sports," Fuller said, "but I'm so thankful that I stuck with it, and it's given me so many opportunities. I've met so many amazing people through sports, and I just want to say literally you can do anything you set your mind to." If you had a main idea that was similar to that, kind of like this is her main point here. Notice too how that's different than just identifying the topic, which obviously comes from the headline. The headline is that she's the first woman to play in a Power 5 conference football game, which is true, but it doesn't get at the main idea. The main idea comes out in the details, which this quote is one of those details. I just want to say that literally you can do anything you put your mind to. So that goes so much deeper than just the topic, just the headline. So when we think of main idea, we think more of the details. A quote that supports this came from a little bit later in the story, where their opponent, the Missouri head coach Eli Drinkwitz, visited with Fuller before kickoff and repeated a message that Fuller has heard a lot in recent days. As the father of 4 daughters, he told Fuller that it was incredible that they watched her make history. And he was, so proud of the fact that she was there, and this is an opposing coach, and it's just kind of cool that, what she's doing sort of goes beyond sort of team allegiance. This is big for the whole sport. So if you had that sort of as a response to the quote, that would be great. There are other options in there, because this is sort of a subjective thing. So it could be one of a few different quotes that you could have had. But if you had that, know that you are on the right track. And here we are back at the learning goal, which is to determine 2 or more central ideas of a text and analyze their development over the course of that text, including how they interact and build on one another. Your scale is listed below. If you would write down where you think you would rate yourself in the Write in Edpuzzle now. And finally, answer this question. Why did you rate yourself as you did? Do you think you were able to find the central idea of the text fairly easily, or could you use a little bit of help in identifying that? Thank you, and completion of this video earns you 1 unit for today's lesson.